All right. Welcome back. We are so excited that you have chosen to spend some time with us as we give you small chunks about a nonprofit. So I am going to talk about the human capital or the people aspect of it. And my name is April Lawson. So this is just a quick overview of what we will discuss today. So we're going to look at, leadership essentials, the executive board, recruiting the right people, your team, passion. You have to have passion for public speaking and getting that clear and concise vision across. We're going to talk about community engagement. Who are we supporting? And then we're going to, end with an elevator pitch that hopefully will entice you to come back to our 10-week program where we dive deeper into each of these topics. That 10-week program is going to start on July 5th. All right, just a little bit about myself. I am a career auditor, generally in operations, compliance, people, processes. I obtained my BS from the University of Southern Mississippi, and then I got my MBA from John Brown University, and I focused on leadership and ethics. And I am currently in my dissertation stage, about to collect data on my dissertation, so I will be done with that by this December. Before we go further, I just, for me, my passion is people all across the board. My passion, my purpose is people. And I believe people are the foundation of any organization, nonprofit, for-profit. Human capital, despite all the innovation and AI and robots, human capital remains the single factor that can make or break your organization, more specifically your nonprofit. Every person has value, no matter their sex, creed, ethnicity, race, education. As a leader, it is your duty to take care of your people, the people that are coming along to join you. It is your duty to take care of them and understanding their mindset and understanding culture. You have to know the people you bring in to your nonprofit. So let's talk about leadership essentials. It will definitely start with passion. Passion, passion, passion. Once you have this great idea of what you want to do in your community, and you come up with a nonprofit, it is the passion. You see a need that needs to be fulfilled. So your passion is going to drive you. I can't say it enough. We can't say it enough. It is imperative that you are clear and concise with your vision. This was in, nonprofit fundamentals that Madiha shared with you. It's also a part of your leadership essentials. You must have a clear and concise vision. You need to understand and adapt to those stakeholders that Madiha talked about. You need to understand and adapt. You need communication at all levels, whether that is the executive board for a company or corporations that's giving you funds, or high school children that are volunteering time. You have to be able to communicate at all levels. You have to have the ability to coach and guide others. And you have to have excellent feedback, managing people, teams, and volunteers. So great nonprofit leaders, they are goal-driven. The goals, the vision, the mission is clear and concise. They possess a high degree of motivation and energy. They are doers. They have to get it done. When you're first starting this, you're not going to have a team, so it's going to be on you and your passion and getting it done. They have a record of productivity, and they have a passion for the organization's mission. So now let's dive into this executive board and/or committee. So what is an executive board? It is an assembly that oversees activities, strategic planning, and making decisions for the organization. This group has a regular meeting cadence, so it's not just sporadic. There are set dates that the executive board comes together to meet. The board is generally made up of the executive director, a board chair, and officers or members, whatever is outlined in your bylaws. That is what you want to focus on in building your executive board. The board needs to ask the tough questions. They need to vet issues and steer the organization. So while you may attract friends and family, you want to seek out people that do not think like you, people that maybe have a different skill set, and they can bring about the tough questions. They can make sure that everything is going through, because friends and family, we're just happy-go-lucky and you could miss something. So very imperative that you seek out members that can ask the tough questions and challenge. And then most board members for nonprofits, they serve in a voluntary role without compensation. So again, your mission, your vision, it has to be clear and concise. Your executive board, as you recruit, they need to have the same passion for the organization. And so just a very quick story. I was a member of an African-American dance troupe. So it was a community organization started by a lady that wanted to see dancing in areas, in African dancing in areas where there weren't any activities. And so she had a board of directors. Now I was a dancer, so I wasn't on the board of directors. I could, but a very good friend of mine was on her board. And I remember she was going to buy some fabric for some costumes and things that we were getting ready for. And so she got the fabric, the supplies, but then she threw in, a 25-cent bag of potato chips and a soda. And that may not seem like nothing, but it is very imperative that you do not mix funds and you do not mix your personal with your grants and or your funding. So it was my friend in that meeting, they thought she was just being very nitpicky, but even down to that, we're talking about $2. They had to say no, and they had to advise her. So the lady, she did not know. She's a dancer. She has a passion for the community. She didn't know about mixing funds. And so we had to document, or the board documented that and then made her aware. So that was a very tough conversation. But my friend that was on her board, stood strong and explained to her, this does not look good when we have an audit. So again, you want to select members that are going to ask those tough questions. They're going to vet issues. They're going to be down to the nitty gritty with everything to make sure that you're in compliance and you're operating with good governance. All right, let's talk about the team. And so a team is a high-performing nonprofit. They don't typically have high salaries. However, they make up the gap with meaningful work. So that's a high-performing team with nonprofits. They're not going to have the corporate salaries. They're not going to have the funds immediately, but the work is meaningful. And so that is what drives people, even though the salary is low, but it drives them to keep coming back. People drawn to nonprofit work are driven by the mission and the desire to make a difference. Again, a clear, concise vision and mission. The accomplishment of the organization is tied to high-performing teams. And I just want you to take a quick minute, and we would dive deeper into this in our 10-week course, but take a minute and think about a great team, a wonderful team that you were a part of. Think about those attributes. And then I want you to think about a bad team that you did not. It was very stressful. There was no synergy. Everybody was on their own purpose or mission. And think about how that made you feel. A bad team can be exhausting. A bad team can be exhausting. So in a nonprofit world where we don't have the funds to pay high salaries, If we can't get a good team, a high-performing, great team, you're going to lose your people. And so that's why we talk about team members in this slide. It is very imperative that you have a great synergized team where everybody can speak fluently and transparent, and we are all focused on the same vision, mission, and purpose. So 3 tips to a successful team. You want to be collaborative. You want to trust. You want to trust your team members. It's very imperative. You want to have collaboration. Everybody speaks up at their ideas and everybody is heard. You want to have trust. You don't want anyone thinking that you are picking. Back to the lady that had the African dance troupe, while it was $2, but she trusted that my friend was not nitpicking. She just wanted good compliance and governance. So it was a tough conversation, but the team, they had trust. And then you want to have SMART goals. And not sure if you've heard this acronym, but it is specific, measurable, achievable, reasonable, and time-specific goals. All right, passion. So we talked about passion early on in all of the segments. Passion is key in a nonprofit, but sometimes passion is not enough. You can do everything that we are sharing with you in this boot camp. You can come and you can sign up and register for the 10-week course where we go in deeper. And you may have passion, a great, clear vision, mission, an excellent executive board and team members. Everybody's passionate, but don't get it twisted and or confused. Sometimes passion is not enough. As I researched everything that was in line, there were some other areas that were done incorrectly. And whereas the passion was done, and when I say incorrectly, this is starting a nonprofit, some things were missed. And there are several stories, and we would talk about those in the 10-week class, but several stories where they had everything, but they made a mistake. Maybe it wasn't the right community. Maybe it wasn't what was needed. And so that organization, that nonprofit flopped. They are no longer in existence. So while passion is imperative, it's important, sometimes it's just not enough. So the success of a nonprofit, it pulls deeply from passion. Remember, these are not high-paying corporate jobs. We offer what we can, and the gap in pay is done by passion and meaningful work. Lack of income structure, board disputes, not having a good, clear vision, all of these can affect your organization. And whereas you may have passion but lack other things, your nonprofit organization could possibly fail. So how to harness passion during turbulence? How do we harness passion during turbulence? So the leader, the director, the visionary comes together and has a clear, concise vision, mission, puts it out there, does her due diligence, his or her due diligence with the community, selects excellent board members, team members. But remember where Medea spoke very quickly, and Barbara will go deep. What if they did the paperwork wrong for the 501c3? And now you're being audited in emails. And now the community is wondering if you're trying to do something shady. How do you bring that passion? How do you harness that passion during this turbulent time? I would say transparency and honest. If you made a mistake, you made a mistake. Let it be known to the community, and still let them feel your passion for what you are trying to establish. Let them feel your passion, and it can get back on track. Some of the stories and case studies that I read, a lot of times if there was an error made in the paperwork, because there is a lot of paperwork in all of this that we are each talking about, errors are made, and it's human nature to try to cover it up or not, share it because of embarrassment, but that creates people, not trusting you. And we talked about trust is imperative with the team. So how do you harness the passion during a turbulence? And that's just one example of a case study. But again, be honest, transparent, pull it back, made an error, respond to everyone, put it out there, whoever your key stakeholders are, be transparent with them, but keep the passion going. And I just guarantee you that you will not flop, and or your nonprofit organization will not fail. All right, so community engagement. So we've done everything right, but whatever we're trying to do, whatever we're trying to enhance in one's life, we see a need in an area. We need to make sure that the need is actually true and that the people, the residents, whoever it is, that they feel the same. So community engagement, it starts with your passionate pitch. And you have to be able to go out and share and get buy-in. And as you're sharing and getting buy-in, and we're going to talk about how to deliver quick and long presentations and or elevator pitches. But when you're connecting with the community, connecting with the people, then you start seeing someone that may be an auditor. They drive the same passion. Ooh, probably need to ask that person to be on my executive board to do the numbers. Or you may see someone that's really good with operations and they have a history of getting things done. Let me add that person to my team and or executive board. But you have to have a passionate pitch. You want to spark discussion and build relationships. At this state in the game or in your nonprofit organization, the community is bought in, you've shared it, it's the same passion. And so now it's just about building the relationships with people that can help. Generally, you can start with a mayor, chamber of commerce, school districts. There are many ways that you can kind of connect with the community and get people on your board that have the same passion. You want to have a presence in the community. You don't want to start a nonprofit and then the actual work is being done, several miles away. You want to have a presence in the community that you are serving. Just like the African dance troupe that I shared with you, while I was a member, I lived almost 45 minutes away from where we were, but where we met, where we practiced, where we shared with the community and the kids, that was the area that was needed. So as I was a part of it, I didn't mind driving to that area. So you want to make sure that you have a presence in the community. You want to leverage the community for knowledge. People, they will let you know what's going on and they will help you out in all stages of building your organization, but you want to leverage that knowledge and you want to be consistent and deliver on all of your promises. And again, mistakes can happen. Be transparent and let the community know, let your board know. So utilize the power of the community to sustain, impact relationships that can drive funding sources. Again, community engagement can start with a pitch of passion. So another thing we want to talk about is when you are going to the community or going to people or funding, you have to have an elevator pitch. I had a friend that was interested in starting a nonprofit, and because it was a friend and they shared with me, they literally went on about 25 minutes. I had no clue. I didn't understand what the vision was, all over the place, but I was able to stop my friend in the moment before they went any further and say, hey, we got to get this down from 25 minutes to about 2 minutes. And I'm going to help you and be honest and give you that feedback. And so you just have to know your audience. A board meeting, the first board meetings, you're documenting bylaws, or you may be, at a recruiting site to get funds, or you may go to a corporation. Kind of know your environment and cater to how long your presentation and or your pitch needs to be. But as human beings, we all know we have a very, very short attention span. So that's why it's very imperative. And we start here and we will go deeper in the 10-week class, but most people can only take about a 2-minute max, and that is your elevator pitch. That is probably the hardest to do. And so that's why we want to focus and call that out at this level. You want to have a quick hit the bolts, hit the passion, hit the need, hit the areas, hit the funding that you need. You want to hit all of that within 2 minutes. And you want to bring mission to life passionately. So a short, persuasive recap of who you are, what you do, the compelling impact, what you want to see in this with this nonprofit, and just enough to spark interest. So I really have enjoyed. We did very high level on how to get passionate people in your nonprofit organization. Again, people, whether it's for-profit or nonprofit, people are the foundation of any organization. And if you are passionate about a mission that you want to start, you want to make sure that you have good people on your team and good people on your executive board. We are going to take another quick break, and then Barbara is going to come back and talk about grant writing essentials. I appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you in our 10-week course that will begin July 5th, 2021. This course will be July 5th, 2021. All right, we will be back to wrap this boot camp up with grant writing.